Well, good morning to you all today. Today is Wednesday, October the 25th. October the 25th, meaning Halloween's right around the corner. So that's very exciting. I am David. I am your host with the most tropical shirt in the world today. That's me, your tropical shirt wearing host. It's cold and rainy here. Well, it's not super cold. It's 68 degrees, but it is rainy. So it's kind of one of those dreary, miserable days. But I did see on the news earlier when I was watching it that I think the Cascade Mountains already got snow. They're getting a big snowstorm out west, northwest. So thank God that's not us. So I'm very, very excited about that. Remember, my live streams, our live streams are all about you, what you're up to, what you think, and your opinions about things. So hopefully this week we won't have any ruckus, any hookers and drug dealers or troublemakers this week. So hopefully things will go very well this week. So, but it is exciting to have you here this morning. Henry is in the house down south. How are you, Henry? It's good to have you here. Man, I just lost my train of thought. Can you believe that? So Halloween's coming up, but before we get started, if you guys would make sure to give us a thumbs up and shout the channel out, shout this live stream out, we'd greatly appreciate that. We got a couple of cool little topics we're going to talk about today because I need your help and your opinions, and it should be a fun one. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it. I do have some hot green tea. It's not so hot anymore because I've had it for a while. Henry, how are you? Anything? It's good to see you guys. I hope you're doing well. I know it has to be getting cold up there for you guys. Henry, things are going pretty good. We're busy as ever, believe it or not. I don't know why we're always so busy, but we seem to be busy, but I don't know what we're busy with, to be honest, but we definitely always seem to be busy. So my wife is always planning. She sent me a text message this morning, something about some Halloween costume things that she might want to go to this week or weekend. And now thinking of my wife, Henry, and anything tonight at 7 p.m. It's 9 a.m. here now. We're going to do another live stream at 7 p.m. and Lorelai is going to be here for that. Right now she's busy working, but she kind of misses doing some live streaming with me, with all of us, because she likes getting to know people, and she's met a lot of really good people over the years. So she decided the other day, like, hey, I know you enjoy doing your 9 a.m. thing, but why can't we do an evening one where I can participate? And me being the good husband that I am, I said, okay, that works for me. So we are going to do one tonight at 7 o'clock. So, and I know for her standpoint, a lot of the people in the Philippines will be awake. And I know she likes to talk to some of the Filipino wives and some of the other Filipino girls that we usually get on the live streams when we do them in the evenings. So I think she kind of misses that so much. So versus a bunch of us old guys during the day. So let me get into something here. So Henry is going to go to Oklahoma next month. Outstanding. If you're coming this way, let me know, man. We'll have lunch on your way to Oklahoma, depending on, which way you go to Oklahoma. So we'll be around. Yeah, let me know. James Gribribes in the house. How are you? Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for the shout out. We appreciate you. These live streams are all about you guys, about what you think. I'm going to have some questions in a little bit. to propose to you. I usually do those at the 9:30 moment, so that we can have open conversation about things that may be of interest. So it's really exciting, I think, to hear what all of you guys have to say. Henry, are you going to be doing anything special in Oklahoma, or just hanging out with friends and family, doing the touristy thing, or just, we go to Oklahoma, we go to Tulsa because, Tulsa's only 2 hours from us. So we've gone over to the aquarium and the zoo. The Tulsa Zoo really kind of stinks. It's kind of a low budget, rundown place anymore, unless they put money in it in the last 3 years. The Tulsa Zoo kind of really sucked. So but the aquarium's pretty good. We've been there a couple of times and we liked it. Well, Henry, we appreciate that. Lorelai's excited to kind of get back into the groove. And, she probably wants to know what all of us guys are yakking about during the day, So, because she knows some of the other guys like James and you and Ronald and stuff are really good guys. But she also knows we have like the Yank in the Philippines. She's a little bit of a troublemaker. So she likes to keep us on our toes is what she likes to do. So. Thinking of the aquarium, though, this winter, this Christmas break, if you guys don't know, my wife's sister is teaching here in Chicago, or not here in Chicago, in the United States, here in the United States, but up in Chicago. And she's going to be coming down in Chicago to spend, coming down over Christmas to spend the holidays with us. So one thing we are going to do, we're probably going to make a trip to Alabama. Actually, we're going to go down to Mobile, Alabama, and probably spend New Year's there and 2 or 3 days either side of New Year's in Mobile, Alabama. But while we're here in Arkansas, they want to go to Silver Dollar City, which is up in Springfield, Missouri. So Branson, Missouri, wherever, up there. But it's going to be winter time, so I don't know I just checked the prices, guys. You won't believe this. The prices to get into Silver Dollar City used to be $59. They are now $89 plus tax, and that's been like just 2 years ago. That's a big jump. So we may, instead of going to Silver Dollar City, up there in Branson, Missouri, we may turn around and go to Springfield, Missouri, where the Bass Pro Shop has their largest aquarium and natural exhibit center. So, and they have a lot of really cool stuff there, but it's indoors. And it's only like $40 a head versus $90 a head. So we're thinking about doing that. I'm taking a long route to pick up a friend. Oh, good. I think it's always fun. We like road trips. We really do. That's where instead of just sitting around here over New Year's and Christmas break, I thought I would go to Mobile, Alabama, because it is one of the areas that we're thinking about buying another house in, is down in Mobile. So we're going to, we didn't make it back to Mississippi this year because Lorelai ran out of vacation time, but she's taken off enough time over Christmas while her sister's here that we can go down for a few days in Alabama. And there's a couple communities in Alabama, in Mobile County, Alabama, that I find interesting. And then, of course, for us, the cruise ship industry there, and we really like the cruise ship industry. We like the proximity to Florida and all the saltwater fishing. So we are really considering, and home values are a steal of the deal compared to what we pay here in this part of the country. So that's another motivation for us, something that we are looking into. And plus it'd give us a chance to get to maybe a little bit warmer weather over New Year's, because it's traditionally, chilly here. So we may run down to Alabama to Mobile, Alabama, hang out, see what there is to do down there. Probably, since our sister's new to the United States, we will more than likely go to Florida. Maybe Pensacola, go to the beach. It'll be cold water, but we'll go there. Let them do the touristy stuff, take pictures of the signs saying "Welcome to Pensacola," "Welcome to Florida," "Welcome to Alabama," "Welcome to Alabama," "Welcome to Arkansas," "Welcome to Missouri," "Welcome here." Because when Filipinos travel, they like to take pictures. Sorry, they like to take selfies everywhere they go. So we'll probably wind up doing a whole lot of that. Henry says, you really like hanging out around your neck of the woods. Yeah, I remember you telling me you're from up in here. It's funny. It's not so much that, because we've been to Springfield, Missouri, and Branson. I don't know. I can't tell you. We were just there Saturday. We were just up in Springfield Saturday. It's not so much that we like it. Not that there's anything wrong with Springfield. If you like a cool weather city, Springfield's a great city to live in. I think it is. I think there's a lot there. It has a lot to offer. But for us, it's really not so much that we like Springfield or Branson. It's truly just because they're so convenient to us. We could spend more time in Tulsa, and we've been talking about that because, being here in our part of the country, on the weekends, we like to take day trips. And, we're only an hour and 15 minutes from Fort Smith, Arkansas, which we went to the U.S. Marshal Museum, and that was really cool. And I did a video on that. That one's really cool. It's really cheap, $16 a head to get in. A fantastic museum. Really liked it. But there's not a whole lot else in Fort Smith, Arkansas besides the riverfront, and it's really not that impressive. We've talked about maybe spending more time in Tulsa, but we've been to Tulsa a bunch. When we're kind of tired of Springfield and Branson also. That's partly the motivation why we think it'd be really good to go live where it's warmer, of course, and explore all new things. We really enjoyed being in Florida, but Florida is just too crazy to live in at this point in time. The insurance costs, the carrying costs of home ownership between property taxes and home ownership insurance just doesn't make it feasible. But we like hanging out in Florida. So that's where we thought, well, maybe Alabama might be good for us. So, and Henry and others, we've been down to Mississippi and checked out Mississippi quite a bit. So that's kind of what we're doing. So it's not so much that we really like Springfield and Branson. It's just we're very comfortable with it. We know it by the back of our hands. It's like Saturday, we ran up to one of the stores and checked some things out and had lunch. What else did we do? Oh, we went to an Asian market up there, and it's just basically a place, an excuse to get out of the house for. So, and all of you folks in the background, welcome in and thank you for being here. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and shout us out. And remember, I have dropped the link. If anybody wants to come up in the panel, you're more than welcome to. And let me drop that link again. Whoops. Give me a second and I'll drop the link again for everybody. So we'll keep that going. So, I mean, I think Springfield, if Springfield was a warmer town, let's say that was in Mississippi or Alabama or Texas, it'd be a great place to live. I just know from living here in Northwest Arkansas, and Henry, you probably do too, the Ozarks can get really cold during the winter. And us old people like going south for the winter. So, but other than that, if Springfield was located somewhere else where it's warmer, I think it's a great place to live. I really do. They got plenty of medical. They got public transit if you need it. There are the Lake of the Ozarks and it's not a great fishery, but it's mainly for energy use. So fishing there's not great, but it's not also horrible. But as much as that we like to fish, we want to go, or maybe we can go saltwater fishing on a regular basis fairly easy. And we're kind of looking at a place down in Alabama called Chickasaw, Chickasaw, Alabama. It apparently was an old shipping town back in the early 1900s. So we're interested in that and some other areas down in Mobile County. Ugh. Green tea's gotten cold, guys. So that's kind of what we've been doing this weekend. This weekend, we are currently at peak foliage. So I think Saturday, Lorelei wants to go take a drive up to Eureka Springs, Arkansas, and go through the hills, the Ozarks, and look at the leaves turning colors, because right now is prime time for that. So we're going to be doing that this weekend. It won't be, but maybe 4 or 5 hours. We'll just drive around, get some lunch, check out Eureka Springs and the trees, let her take some pictures and stuff. And then I think we are supposed to go to a haunted house this weekend. And then she sent me some things this morning about wanting to go to some costume parties or costume events, which I'm not so sold on about getting dressed up and making a fool of myself more than I do every day on YouTube. So, Henry says, yes, it's very expensive in Florida, but in Alabama, it's not. Henry, I do a lot of research, as you probably have figured out. And I do a lot of hands-on research and stuff. One thing, for instance, this house that we live in here in this part of the country, where we live at, the housing market, even at the high interest rate, is still booming. As soon as a house goes on the market, it's sold. So, but for instance, I could buy a bigger house, an older home, which we're okay with a much bigger yard. So that gives us a little bit more elbow room from our neighbors, and probably save $125,000. So in Mobile County now, one thing I've learned about Alabama, what they call LA, Lower Alabama. If you're on the east side of Mobile Bay, so that's where Mobile County is, and Mobile technically is, that side of Mobile, Alabama, is a whole lot cheaper than if you go to the east side next to Florida. So the peninsula that goes from Mobile Bay to Florida, that area gets really pricey. And there is a nice little town that we like in there, but their home values are the same as they are here in our part of the country. So we wouldn't be improving ourselves to go there, except for environmentally. But we can go back across the bridge and save $150,000. So that's where we kind of look at that, because we do have a lot of other plans. And one thing I counsel young people, or my students used to be on, is don't become house poor. Work hard, save your money so that you can enjoy your money and enjoy your retirement, enjoy your time. So I think it's more important to be debt free, have a simple dwelling that you enjoy, that you like, but allows you to go travel, to go on cruise ships. You may allow us, if we decide to do this, to maybe go to the Philippines for 3 or 4 months out of the year and come back. So we haven't figured out where we're going with all of that down the road. But, that is something that we are definitely looking into, is doing like a 7-5 or 8-4 type situation in a few years when we go to Alabama I mean, sorry, when we going back when we live in Alabama, and we're going to go to the Philippines, but we haven't decided any of that yet. But it's kind of like step one, step two, step three. Then, of course, we've been all over the country, and we actually really like the Gulf Coast vibe. It seems to be kind of laid back, easygoing. It's affordable, but yet you get, the good food, and there are good music venues, there's parks. There's so much that you can do where you're not locked up inside your house that's cheap or inexpensive or free. Plus, the fishing is great. Anything, if he's listening in the background, he loves to fish, and he has a great fishing channel. You guys haven't seen his. So we kind of look at those things about quality of life. We really enjoyed Florida, but like we talked about, it's just crazy. You're going to be paying. If you bought a house in Florida and had it paid for, you may still spend $5 to $15 easy $1,000 a year paying for insurance and property taxes. That's a lot. So, and we've looked into Texas, and we like parts of Texas. I don't like the Texas vibe as much as I like the Florida Panhandle, the Alabama, Mississippi vibe. I like that vibe a little bit better than the Texas vibe. And then, of course, if you go to the Gulf on the Texas side, you got, Galveston and the Bay there. But that's kind of a dirtier environment because of the way the currents flow out of the Mississippi. If you go back to the Alabama side, it's cleaner and the beaches are nicer. Orange Beach, Gulfport, the Mississippi part, and then the part there in Alabama too is also really nice. Gulf Shores, Alabama is a really nice place. It's expensive to live, but it's a really, really nice place to be. And we've been there. We've been there multiple times on vacations. So I like it. I like the southern Gulf Coast vibe. If you get into Florida, Florida has a different vibe. The east coast of Florida is a little different than the west coast of Florida, but it's not super southern or hospitality. It gets a little bit more of a northern vibe the deeper you get into Florida. Until you get to Miami, then the culture totally changes. But you can get in the central part of Florida, and there seems to be so many people from the north there that it's more like living in the north versus it is like living in Alabama or Mississippi, where people are friendly and kind and enjoyable and seem to be happy. A lot of the people in central Florida, from my standpoint, seem to be stressed. So that's something that we look at. So Henry, I forgot to ask you, how did your car show go back in October? How did that all go back in October? Was there a big turnout? Did it look good? Did you have a lot of things going on with it? So we hope it did. They're looking at thinking of your part of the country, Henry, the Ozarks. They're talking about doing, crap, I lost it. I just saw it this weekend when we were in Springfield. They're putting together a new, we all know about Route 66, but crap, what was it? They're going to be putting together another thing like Route 66. I know Route 66 comes through there, but there's another route. And they're currently marketing and advertising that they want to do these car events on this other route coming out of Springfield. I forgot now. Oh man, sorry, I forgot all of that. Because I looked at it this weekend thinking, oh, well, that's a great way to stimulate, the local economy, is to kind of rip off Route 66, but do another car event. I can't remember, I'm sure it's not Route 59 or 56, maybe it's 56. But we saw that this weekend while we were up in Springfield. So they want to do that. We don't really do big we don't do a big, we have the Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue here in Northwest Arkansas, where is the third largest biker event in the nation. But we don't really have a gigantic car event. We have a lot of small car shows, usually year round. Well, except for maybe in the winter. So we might have, each city may put on different car shows at different times, but we don't have a big event coming through the whole area. Um, Festival for cars, just motorcycles. Henry says, yes, when you have to pay hundreds of dollars for a tag and driver's license, yeah, it does get expensive in Florida. It does. And then, of course, Henry, to add to that, what we did when we were in Florida a couple years ago, because when we sold one house and before we moved to the Philippines and the typhoon hit us and all that garbage, what we did is we lived in Florida, and like I said, we really love Florida, but it's just not affordable. I called my insurance company and said, hey, how much would insurance from my car be if I lived in Florida? And they said, well, one thing, and I didn't know this until then, that wherever your car is for 6 months, you have to be insured out of. So we were only in for Florida for 3 months, so it wasn't a big deal. But if we're going to have a car in another state for more than 6 months, it has to be insured in that state. Okay, didn't know that. So, but I called him and said, okay, how much would my insurance be affected if we bought a place in Florida? Because I was curious about my car insurance, and it was going to be more. They said, absolutely, with all the storms and blah, 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 Florida is a high-risk state for car insurance. So I would have to pay more, not only for the homeowner's insurance, if you can get it, but for the car insurance, it would have went up also at least by 25 or 30% for cars that we owned. It's just crazy. So it just didn't make sense. I don't know how people do it, to be honest. I guess they kind of have been there long enough that that's where they're invested in, that's where they live, and there's not a lot they can do except for just pay it. And that's sad. That's sad. I mean, I'll tell you, when we went to the Philippines to live, what I found strikingly was when we sold everything, we went to the Philippines. But after the typhoon hit and my health took a turn south, we came back to the United States. I bought a car. I was shocked that even though I was only gone, now this is somebody who has a perfect driver, great driving record. I have a great credit score. I don't have accidents. When we got back and bought another car, I was considered a high-risk insurance. They charged me an ungodly amount because I had an insurance gap because I was out of the country. Pissed me off. Like, how wrong is this? Because I chose to go out of the country and come back. You consider me bad because I had a gap in my insurance. And it would have been cheaper to keep insurance here on a car that I didn't even own. So that when I got back, I didn't have to pay as much. I paid way more for the first 6 months on the car that we bought, Lorelai's car, than I ever would have normally. It was outlandishly high. Well, you haven't had insurance. Oh, but I have a perfect credit score, I mean, that drove me crazy, I gotta admit. That one drove me crazy, guys. The frustrations. But we'll see. We'll see what we're going to be doing. What is going to happen, I don't know. But we'll see. But we like Alabama. Henry, we like Alabama. We like fishing, and I don't fish enough, and I wish I could fish more. even if it's just driving over somewhere to a park and doing a little bit of fishing where it's warm. So here's my, okay, everybody. So we got a couple questions. Halloween is coming up, so we're going to switch gears. And we're going to talk about Halloween this week, is what we're going to do. Right? And so I have a couple of questions, and we'll show these off and on throughout the course of our 2 hours. And remember, we're only going to be here for 2 hours, so we're done at 11, and then we're coming back at 7 p.m. tonight because Lorelai will be home, and we're going to do another 2 hours. So that's what we're going to do. And we'll probably cover the same topics later tonight. She wants to be here. So my question, what's your favorite Halloween movie or movies, and why? Do we have a favorite Halloween movie? I want to know why it is. So that's question number one. We have another one coming up here in a minute. Because there's lots and lots of Halloween movies, scary movies, and that's kind of what I mean. Let me clarify. I don't just mean movies about Halloween. I mean anything that's scary that would be good to watch or to torture children with on Halloween. That's kind of what I mean by that. And then our secondary question is, what's the worst Halloween candy ever? What Halloween candy do you hate the most? So those are kind of our questions for today. You know, what's your favorite Halloween movies? So, and I've done a little bit of research, as you guys know. I have, you know, a lot of examples of movies. And some of these I've never heard of, but I'm going to have to go back and watch. So what I did is, you know, I did a little Googling and found that, Henry, you forgot that Halloween's coming up? Oh my goodness gracious. Well, we don't get candy out for Halloween. We're too greedy. I don't. So I got a lot of really cool Halloween movies, and I'm going to share my screen with you guys. And we're just going to look at this and kind of go through these. This is from Good Housekeeping. Let me get over here and switch this up a little bit for anybody who will watch this. Just hang on. Let me blow this up a little bit. All right. So this is 80 best Halloween movies of all time. That's a lot of movies. We may not get to all of those. So, and then I got some other really cool stuff to share with you. But let's look at this. Halloween, 1978, with what's her name? Jamie Lee Curtis. Remember her? So, Halloween movies. Now, I dig Halloween. I like Halloween movies. The Halloween movie. I think it's really great. I also like Rob Zombie's remake of those that he did a few years ago, which are really good. So we have Halloween. Good Housekeeping says Halloween is number one. Number two, it's The Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown, 1966. So, you know, it's a great, I remember watching this growing up. So I would agree that this is probably a great movie, right? You know, I mean, I remember it. I liked it. Rosemary's Baby. Some of us old people remember watching this and going, holy crap, man, that's a trip. You know, being impregnated by the devil and giving birth to the demon. I really liked the acting of her husband. I can't remember his name. And And then the old lady, remember the old lady? Whew, man, she was, oh my God. Henry says, I do like the Halloween movies. Yeah, Halloween. Nosferatu, 1920. This is probably one of the original Halloween movies or scary movies. And I've watched this a bunch of different times over the years, over the years. And the older you get, the more you kind of learn to appreciate this. I think I appreciate it more now as an old guy. So, vampire movie, the original. Poltergeist. Lorelai and I just watched this the other night on Turner Classic Movies. Now, here's my problem. So, this comes on, and Henry, you might be able to relate to this, some of you guys. So, Poltergeist was coming on, and I'm like, oh, great. I told Lorelai, I said, oh, that movie Poltergeist is coming on. And she's like, oh my God, again? And I'm like, well, yeah, but it's a really good movie. And what got me was, it was on the channel called Turner Classic Movies. And so I stopped for a second and I said, how in the hell is Poltergeist on a classic movie channel? Then I realized it was done in 1982, and I'm in my late 50s. So does that mean all the TV shows and movies I liked back in the 80s are classics now? Am I that old? So that one kind of made me think, hey, Dennis, good to see you. Thank you for being here, my friend. We appreciate you. Thank you for shouting us out and giving us a thumbs up. We're talking about Halloween today, Dennis. And Henry and Dennis, Anyfin's in the background, and I'm sure there's a few others. Say hi to everybody. So we're, Dennis, excuse me. What I'm asking you guys is, what is your favorite Halloween movie? And what Halloween candy do you hate the most? And right now, I'm sharing a screen with you from Better Homes and Garden, or Good Housekeeping, about their top Halloween movies. So, Joe and Jenny's in the house. Everybody give Joe and Jenny a big shout out. Thank you for being here. Appreciate the thumbs up and the shout out. Joe, do you have a favorite Halloween movie? Not a movie about Halloween, but a movie that's good to watch at Halloween. And I was saying, man, Poltergeist. Love it, but I can't believe it was that long ago, so now that makes me an old guy. Psycho, the original Psycho. Oh, okay, Henry, your tablet's messing up. And of course, I've dropped the link there, Dennis and Joe. If anybody wants to come up into the chat box with me, you're welcome to. Or the panel, whatever it's called. So Psycho. You might remember Psycho. I think how they filmed it was fantastic. I think it's just a great movie. Beetlejuice. Now, I remember watching this. Not for me. I thought it was stupid. Yeah, well, Henry, misspelling again. It's okay. Oh, I missed something from Henry. Henry says Dark Shadows TV series, as well as movie, is yeah, I agree. I actually went back and watched the TV series. And to be honest, Henry, I didn't even know that there was a Dark Shadows TV series until after the movie came out a couple of years ago. So I didn't even know that. But I think Beetlejuice stinks. What do you guys think? Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You gotta love a good tank check. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974. Leatherface. Love it. And of course, I always love it when pretty 70s women get cut up with chainsaws. You can't beat that, Get Out. Now, I don't know this movie. I saw this. Dennis is saying, let me back up. Henry is saying Dark Shadows is his favorite. Okay. Dennis is talking about movie Nightmare, a Yank. Yeah, the Yank is a nightmare. He's sleeping. He can't stay up past his bedtime to hang out with us, Dennis. So he has to go to bed because he's getting old. Dennis says food. His would be the treat, the Rice Krispies treats. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of those. But has anybody ever heard of this movie, Get Out, in 2017? I don't know it, so I'm gonna have to Google it and go find it and watch it. So it says it uses horror as a vehicle to explore racism. Is an absolute must see. I don't know. I've never seen or heard of this one, so I'm gonna watch it. Never heard of it. Yeah, I saw that, Henry, and that's what I mean. They were black and white. I think they're on either like Netflix or Prime or somebody like that, or they're all of those dark shadows are actually on Netflix or somebody because I saw them a while back. Oh, Dennis, you're horrible. So Dennis is saying, no, not the Rice Krispies treats, just a bowl of rice. Yeah, I get you there, Dennis. I don't really eat rice unless it has flavor in it either. How about Child's Play? Did anybody like Child's Play? I didn't find it all that exciting. And I know they've rebooted it and they got a TV series out, but it's just not my thing, you know. This was nice. Nightmare Before Christmas. It was okay. Tim Burton's, his wackiness. Yeah, Joe says it's almost 11 p.m. there. Yeah. Well, we don't care what time it is. If they want to stay up and visit with us great Americans, they can. If they want to sleep it off, they can, Joe. We don't care. Now, I think The Night of the Living Dead, the original from 1968, is awesome. What do you guys think about Nightmare of the Living Dead? I thought it wasn't very graphic or scary, but I just thought, it was really cool. Joe is saying, let me back up. Henry, I haven't heard of it. Henry, let me make sure I'm not missing something. Oh, the movie. Yeah, you haven't heard of the movie either. Me either. Joe is saying one show that I hated back in the day was Race with the Devil. Race with the Devil. Oh, Henry says that Dark Shadows on Tubi. Okay. So I knew it was somewhere out there. Joe, I don't know what Race with the Devil is. I don't know that one. I like The Night of the Living Dead is one of my favorites. Oh, Megan. Have you guys seen Megan? It's one of the new ones. This is a pretty good movie. If you haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil it for you. I want you to go watch this movie. It's not going to be one of my, it would make my top 25. I think it's a good movie. But I want you guys to go watch it. Young Frankenstein, I saw this one again the other day and it bored the crap out of me. But I guess the older I get, I've just not become a Mel Brooks fan, So, The Conjuring. All right, now I love the Conjuring series. And I'm a big fan of the Conjurings 1 and 2. But what I will say is I'm not a fan of is the Nun series. Joe, I'm coming to you, Joe. Is the movies about the nun, which is part of the Conjuring? I'm not a fan of that. So they kind of bore me. I know there's a Nun 2 out, but I think it's not true to who the Warrens were. So, Joe, how are you?
Not too bad there, Dave.
What are you thinking for Halloween? Ooh, The Shining. Do you like The Shining, Joe? Ken's in the
I'm
house.
not too much into horror anymore.
No? Is that because you were married?
Married twice.
You get the joke. Ken's in the house. Everybody say hello to Ken. Stephen King trilogy. Yeah, I like Stephen King. I've read all of his books and watched all of his movies. I'm a big fan of Stephen King. So everybody say hello to Ken. Ken, say hello to everybody. Remember, this live stream is about you. Ken, we appreciate the thumbs up and sharing us out. Does anybody like The Shining? I love The Shining. And Lorelai and I saw the part 2, which I can't remember what it was called, The Doctor or something. I don't know. But when the little boy grows up. Does anybody know what this movie, the 17 is? X? I've never heard of this one. Looks like a porno movie. Joe, you know what this one is?
Nope.
So how are you, Joe? What have you been up to? Anything?
Oh, not much.
Do you like the?
Just
Does anybody like? Go ahead.
Just trying to survive up here.
Well, winter's coming.
But that show, Race with the Devil,
Yeah, I've never heard of that one. What was it?
that was a bunch of kids running through the desert
Okay.
in an RV, and the devil was chasing them.
I'll have to Google that because and look it up. See, maybe it's on Tubi or something or Freevee or something. But yeah, I've never actually heard of that one.
There's a show that was up in St. Louis.
Ah. Nightmare on the Elm Street. I was never a fan of these movies. They just didn't, resonate with me for some reason. Wasn't a big thing. Trick or Treat, I've watched this one. It's, it's, I don't know. It didn't have a lot of substance to it, I don't think. So that's what we're asking. We're asking what food, Halloween candy you hate the most, and what's your favorite Halloween related movie. Number 20 on their list is House on the Haunted Hill, 1959. These are okay. I like those. I like the remake. Have you seen the remakes? So, did anybody watch these Quiet Place 1 and 2? These were pretty good movies, I gotta admit. We watched these in the theater, and we enjoyed the Quiet Place 1 and 2. They're not very scary, and they're more like space movies because there are aliens involved. I don't know this one. Joe, do you know this one? Ken, does anybody know this movie? Barbarian. The premise is a woman shows up to the house she rented for the weekend. Gee, that's a new ideal. Only to find a man inside who says, already bucked it. It's late. There's rain pouring, of course. Never heard of that one. Hocus Pocus. This is just kind of like a kid's movie, a Disney Halloween movie. It was okay. Not really my cup of tea, but it's all right. Didn't you tell me the other day, Joe, that you just saw a bunch of Disney movies or Halloween movies or something?
Yeah.
What did you watch?
Well, I've got Hocus Pocus here. I was watching on YouTube on the Disney Channel the Halloween Town.
Okay, Halloween Town, yeah. Ken says hello to Henry. Ken also says, nope, never heard of it. Orphan. Have you guys seen the Orphan movies? There's 2 of them.
Morning out there, Ken.
There's 2 of these, and they're actually pretty good movies. Right now, I think they're on Netflix or Tubi too, so you can watch them. But this girl here, she plays like a minor. I'm not going to spoil it for you. Go watch them. They're good movies. Scream. You guys all remember Scream? Back in 1996, Scream was the biggest thing, since chocolate bars for Halloween. Ken is asking, I got to try to read your comment here. Whoop, sorry. Ken is asking, what was the movie where the three teens were stuck on a ski lift overnight and ate by wolves? Can't think of the name of it. I don't know, but was it Hungry Like a Wolf? Was it Hungry Like a Wolf? Isn't that a song, you know? Scream, it was okay, but they made like 500 of them since then. Cat People now. Have you ever seen Cat People, Joe?
Yeah, I didn't think it was too good.
Yeah, it's kind of a lame premise, and they did a remake in the '80s with that really good-looking chick with the short black hair, and that was okay, but it wasn't the greatest. You know, it was cool, but nothing. You know, Hellraiser. How many people watched Hellraiser back in the day? Henry is saying Boris Karloff and Vincent Price made some of the best movies. I agree, especially Vincent Price to me had this great way of speaking, you know, his mannerisms or his deliverance, I thought was really cool. I remember Hellraiser, guys, but I don't think it was that great. You know, it was all right. But, you know, they made another 20 or 30 of these. This is a good movie, Hereditary. Lorelai and I watched this a couple times, and you need to watch it because it's a little bit of a mind screw with you. So I would encourage you watching that one. Oh, Death Becomes Her back in '92. Goldie Hawn, Meryl Streep. That's kind of a comedy, right, Joe? You remember this one? Oh,
Don't remember it, but I believe it is a comedy.
yeah. All right. Terrifier, guys. If you don't know Terrifier and Terrifier Tool, they look. They've actually in the news and on social media have gotten a lot of I don't want to say crap, but flack for being so violent and so bloody, and basically no substance to the movie, but pure bloods and guts. You know, it was so bad that it was reported in the theater, even for Terrifier 2, that people were getting sick and puking. Oh, I don't know about that. And they were leaving the theater early because it was just so horrible. I've watched them. I found them a little bit just redundant. The Monster Squad. This was a kids' movie. I remember this one, kind of like the Goonies. The Ring.
Same
Lorelai.
premise.
Yeah, pretty much. Just The Ring. Lorelai and I just watched this the other day, and she was telling me that when it came on in the Philippines, when she was a little kid in the Philippines, they all gathered to try to watch this, and the family members didn't want them to, and they were afraid that the person was really going to come out of the TV and all of that good stuff. So I thought that was kind of funny. I found The Ring okay. You know, nothing impressive to me. Do you remember when the Blair Witch Project came out in the late '90s and everybody was all, I hated it. It drove me absolutely ape shit crazy battery because they couldn't keep the damn camera steady. And I know that was the film style, but I hated the Blair Witch Project and part two for that. You remember this one, Joe?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was popular. Does anybody watch the Purge series? I never got into watching the Purge movies. You know, Ken, Henry, you guys ever watched this one? The Purge? I guess this is where they get one day of the year to where they can kill people for free, right? Yeah. Yeah, one day out of the year, if I remember right, they get to kill anybody you want to kill for free without any consequence. Insidious, this is a good one. This is the guy that plays in the Contour movies, the guy that plays Warren. This was a good. I liked it. I like the old lady that stars in this one. Practical Magic. I didn't think this is more of a girly movie. I don't know how this is a Halloween movie. It's just a girly witch movie, right? Oh, Ken says, yeah, the Purge movies are pretty good. So he actually likes the Purge movies. Okay. So I watched the first one and never really got into anything after that. The Sixth Sense. You guys remember this one? I see dead people. When Bruce Willis was really dead, this is a good movie. It wasn't scary, but it was a really good movie. Friday the 13th. Who doesn't love Friday the 13th? Joe, did you ever watch this one as a kid?
Yeah, my brother loved it. I hated it.
Okay, so who's the killer? Does anybody know the killer? Henry, Ken, Dennis? Who's the killer? If you get the answer right, I'll send you an autographed picture of myself. I will, I promise. I like the Friday the 13th movie series. I like it, one, because, the chicks are hot and, it's kind of set in a cool place, but I like the story. I actually like the Friday the 13th. Now, granted, they got like 35 of them now, and he's been in space and, and everywhere else, which is just stupid. But Ken says he kind of likes Freddy Krueger, the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. This is an animation movie, Caroline. No, I didn't really see that. I know what that one is. Sleepy Hollow was pretty good. Christina, I don't know what you say her name, Richie. She is really a strange actress. I like watching her. I think she does a great job. Us. Has anybody
Yes,
seen Us? Go ahead, Joe.
Christine, Richie, she's a good actress.
She is. She has a couple of other really good movies out recently where, granted, she's in her mid 40s now or whatever, but she does a really, really, really good job. Really good job. Henry likes Friday the 13th. Go ahead, Joe.
They just showed Casper the Friendly Ghost here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I haven't seen this one. Has anybody seen this? Us? A brilliant invention from Jordan Peele's. This is a horror feature. Family discovers a violent doppelgangers while on vacation. Really? I haven't seen that one. Has anybody seen Us 2019? I haven't seen that one. I'm going to have to look at that one. Ghostbusters! What's the line, Joe? Come on, I know you know the line from Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I know the line, but I don't want to say it.
Who you gonna call? Who you gonna call? So
I'm hearing echo coming out of your speakers, Dave.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, Henry says he never watched the Purged, and Ken is recommending the Interview with the Vampire, which I absolutely agree with you. And the other thing I'll tell you about Interview with the Vampire is there's a new TV series. New TV series, The Interview with the Vampire. It I can't remember if it was on Netflix. No, I think it's FX or something like that, but it's okay. It's pretty good. Ghostbusters. You got to love the Ghostbusters movies. Come on. Ah, see, Henry gets it right. Jason's mother, Mrs. Voorhees, is the killer in part one. Jason was not the killer until part two because he saw that his poor mama got beheaded by the pack. That's right. Henry, you get an autographed picture of myself. Happy Death Day, think of Groundhog Day, but Halloween movies. All right. I'm not for sure if I've ever seen this one. I don't know. It sounds okay. Oh, Rocky Horror Picture Show. Joe, have you ever seen the Rocky Horror Picture Show?
A few of my friends wanted me to go to it, but I never did.
I know Ken and Henry had to. I remember this. This was a fantastic time. Whatever happened? Why don't we get to do things like this in this day and age? The Rocky Horror Picture Show, what you used to do, Joe, is get a bunch of people together and we'd go to it and you would bring in, alcohol and party in the movie, but you would learn the lines and you would shout out the different lines to the movie. And the whole audience was so involved in this. It's one of the greatest interactive movies there ever was. Um, it was just funny as hell. So I went with a whole bunch of friends doing the time warp. We drank a lot, so maybe that's what made it fun. I don't know. Henry says, no, Henry says, Ken says he saw it, but he's not into musical. It is definitely a musical. The first two Friday the 13th movies were good. After that, yeah, they just got stupid. I agree with you. Edward Scissorhands, it was a good movie. It was kind of a kid's movie, Tim Burton movie. It was all right. I mean, Johnny Depp is a fantastic actor. The Evil Dead, you gotta love The Evil Dead. I mean, this guy, what's his name? What is the guy's name that plays that? Let's see if it says here. But whatever the actor's name is, man, he's fantastic in those movies. Pet Cemetery. Here's something that's gone off the rails. This is a Stephen King movie or book, but they've got like four of them out, and there's a new one coming out. And I think they've gone off the rails. It's kind of like the Friday the 13th movies. This is a really good movie, but after that, you know, Halloween, this must be a Halloween Town. You just saw this one, right, Joe?
Actually, I have it,
Okay, so yeah,
and it's in on YouTube.
okay. The Adams Family. You gotta love the Adams Family. Come on. Who doesn't love the Adams Family? Morticia.
Yeah, the remake of them with Christine Ritchie was good
Well, now I'll tell
back in
you,
the '80s.
yeah, and that's a really good one. There's a new series. Is it on Netflix called Wednesday? And it's about Wednesday. I can't remember the girl that stars in it right now, but she's really pretty. She's a really good actress. But it's when Wednesday goes, and it's just about her and going to school, going to like a boarding school. If you haven't seen the series, the new series called Wednesday, it's a really good series. I enjoyed it tremendously. It's really funny. American Werewolf in London. American Werewolf in London. This was a great movie. I gotta admit. I gotta admit, I love the American Werewolf in London movies. Oh, who doesn't love Carrie? I know all of us old guys saw Carrie 500 million times with Sissy Space. What's her name? Sissy?
Spacek.
Yeah, Spacek. Yeah, that was her name. I mean, and all the blood and what was her last name? White Carrie White. Remember that? So we
Yeah,
gotta know we love Carrie. The remake sucked. They really did. But this original one's really good. I like the cars in it. And John Travolta dies in it. So the original Amityville Horror. This is a good one. They've got like 25 or 30 other versions of this, but I think this original Amityville from '79 is really good. And, if you don't know this, the house, I don't know if see those windows right there? Those are the eyes of the evil house. Since the homeowner, the people that own it currently up in New York, they took these windows out and changed them out with square windows. And they said they've never had a problem. Interesting, right?
another good Christmas Halloween movie was Christine.
Yes, another Stephen King movie. Yeah, we just watched it again the other day, and Lorelai was like, "Why do you keep watching that movie?" And I'm like, "Well, because I want to." Ken is saying, "You ever seen the movie Powder?" Yeah, it was the albino boy that had power, right? As Powder was hit, right? He was albino, and I can't remember what kind of powers he had, but he had power. I thought the Paranormal Activity movies were pretty good. They got a little wacky in the third and fourth version of it, but the original one was good. I enjoyed it.
Now they're getting a little redundant.
Yeah, it's just kind of silly. I've never heard of this one. Is anybody ready or not from 2019? It's a if you like us them survival type movies, it's a thriller you don't want to miss. Okay. I've never seen this one. It another Stephen King movie. Yeah, Ken says, yeah, it was the albino kid. That's right. Yep, yep. It. Who doesn't love the movie It? Pennywise the clown and It Part Two. These are great movies. This is a great comedy, The Haunted Mansion. Now, if I remember right, didn't Don Knotts star in one of the same movie way back in the early '60s? I know it was like the Don Knotts movie where what was it? The Ghost of Mr. Chicken.
Something
Um,
like that.
yeah, pretty much the same movie. But Eddie Murphy is a great actor. He does a good job. The Craft. If you guys haven't seen this one, it's about these girls that become witches and summon in the bad witch, and the good witch has to come in and kind of save the day. It's a good movie. It's all right. A lot of cute girls in it, so most people would like that. Wow, this is shocking to me, guys. Ken says the Haunted Mansion dumbest movie ever made. It is a dumb movie. I agree. I like the Ghost of Mr. Chicken though. If you remember that one, The Exorcist. How is it so low on these people's list? The Exorcist should be like number one or five. I love. There's a new version of it out this year. They remade The Exorcist. It's out right now in theaters. We haven't seen it yet because Lorelai says, somebody told me it was bad, so we haven't gone and seen it. But I loved The Exorcist, and I loved the whole uh, the pea soup vomit and watching her spin her head around. Smile. This is out there now, like on Tubi and all of those movies. I haven't watched this one.
What it's looking like on their list here. It's the movies that didn't do very good in the theater.
Well, I don't know. Maybe, yeah. Well, the Exorcist was number one at the theaters. It was a huge smash. But
Right,
yeah,
but I'm saying overall,
yeah.
for all,
Oh, Malachi and the Children of the Corn. You guys remember this? Maybe never want to go to Kansas. The Children of the Corn was really good. Yeah, it's a Stephen King book too. So this is a good movie. Is this wait no? This is The Witch. The movie is about a family rejected by their Puritan church, sent to live away from the safety of the community. Yeah, this is good, but there's another version of this called The Village, which is even better. I think is good. Ah, see, these are more slasher movies, the Saw series. They had all of the Saws on the other day, so I made Lorelai watch them again for like the 50th time. You know, she just played on her phone. So I like the Saw movies. They're okay. The original Candyman from 1992. It's good. This guy did a really good job, portraying the Candyman. I think he did good. The remake's not so good, or the update, or part two, or whatever you want to call it. That's out. that's only been out a couple years really is not the that great. Henry says he likes the original one of it. Uh oh. Nope. Has anybody heard of this one? Jordan Peele's Nope is harder to wrap your head around than Get Out or Get Us. I don't know what this one. It's a sci-fi bent in addition to a horror one.
I've never heard of it.
I've never heard of it either. Nope, from 2022. Has a monkey in it, so maybe it's good. Let's see. I've never heard of this one either. Now I've never heard of this one. Okay. Dracula, the 1931 version of Dracula. So there is nothing more classic than a Bela Lugosi Dracula as himself. If you're looking for the iconic Universal monster, here's the place to start. It is good. One thing I do like, and some of us old guys can relate to this, is, like Psycho and some of these other movies, The Haunting from '63, they weren't real gory, but they told the story really well that it was scary. You know what I mean? It was intriguing without all the special effects and the horror, like The Birds. The Birds was a really good movie, but they didn't. The Haunting from '63, I think was a good movie. I watched it. The Cabin in the Woods. I don't know about these. There's a couple of these out there. I don't know if anybody likes the Cabin in the Woods movies. Just basically about a bunch of drunken college kids who get infected and become zombies and werewolves and whatever. And then apparently there's a government agency that's really behind all of it. Is apparently what it is. The Witches. Yeah, this is another kids movie. Um, yeah. Oh, here's the remake. Here's the Bram Stoker's Dracula from '92. Now, this is from Coppola, and he does a great job. This is a good movie. It had Keanu Reeves in it, remember? So I think it's a really, really good movie. I'm surprised they got it so low, but I think they did a good job on it. The Bride of Frankenstein, 1935. Mary Shelley's The Frankensteins, and now they've got the Bride of Frankenstein. Here's the original Thing from 1982. You guys remember The Thing? See, I like some of these older ones. Even like The Blob from the '50s or The Fog. Some of those movies are pretty cool to watch. But this is pretty good. I like it. The remake's not bad, but I like the original one. This is a really good movie. If you haven't seen this one, The Invisible Man. She does, I can't remember her name, the girl, Elizabeth Moss, but she does a fantastic job in this movie. She does a great job. It's a good movie. Oh no. Abbott and Costello. Meet the Mummy, 1954. I didn't know they had a horror movie. But obviously, it's a comedy, so that's funny. This is a Adam Sandler movie. Hubby Halloween 2020. I haven't seen this one, to be honest. This must be another kids movie. Fun Size 2012. High school seniors forced to babysit their little brother. Not really my thing. The Creature from the Black Lagoon. This is a good movie. Very classic. Not very scary, but I don't think I know this one. Do you? Anybody know this one? Creators from the Saw and Insidious franchise return to the horror genre of this film. Follows a woman who starts to have visions. Horrible. I don't know. I've never heard of this movie. The Zodiac. Well, I don't know if this is a Halloween movie. This is a serial killer movie. You know, say even Sodak isn't what you think when you picture a Halloween movie. Yeah, I don't think it's a Halloween movie. It's a good movie. That's our 80 movies from them. So, Joe, what's your favorite movie? Halloween movie?
Going back in the years, going back through the years, be the original Dracula, the original Halloween movies from the 50s.
Yeah, I do too. I like them all. I mean, that's what I was telling them earlier, Joe, was when we watched the Poltergeist last week, it was on the Turner Classic Movie Channel. And I'm like, wait a minute, how in the world did Poltergeist become a classic movie? Then I realized, well, we're really old now. So maybe the movies that we grew up watching are now classics, I guess, is what it is.
That's how it goes.
It does. So I don't know what I don't have a decision. I don't have a definitive answer. If I'm looking at Halloween movies, I would say that I think Halloween and Friday the 13th originals, maybe part one and part two, are probably my go to classic traditional Halloween type movies. So that's where I'd probably go with those. But I don't know. So, but I got another great story for you guys if you want to hear it. Here's another great story. What I was curious about was not the bank, but what I was curious about was Halloween candy. And what's your favorite candy? What's your least favorite candy? And did your mom and dad ever tell you that you're going to get poisoned candy? Were you ever scared of getting poisoned candy as a kid?
Mom used to tell us, you can't touch the candy until after I examine it.
Yeah. Then they took all the good stuff, right?
Yeah, my favorite Halloween candy be Reese's Pieces. My least favorite, or the one that I test, is the black licorice.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one to hate on. I don't like black licorice either. My least favorite is the candy corn. I hate that crap. I hate candy corn. I'm trying to. What I wanted to ask and what I wanted to find out was the fear, because I remember growing up as a kid that even the hospitals and stuff agreed to X-ray your candy for you if you brought it in. Um, if you brought it in, they would X-ray it to make sure it didn't have any needles or things like that. So the real question is, do we believe, as old wise people that we are now, and some of you guys are way older than some of us, um, was there justification to be afraid of Halloween candy and trick or treating? Should children be afraid of poisonous candy or tampered with candy today? I know a lot of places do trunk or treat, or you go to the mall, so you really don't go door to door. But the last 2 years, it seems like we get more trick or treaters than ever. So I think it's getting back to the way it was back when we were kids. So that's my question.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Joe.
one thing I would always do with my children whenever I took them out, got them back to the house, I go through their candy right away, right in front of them. This way they knew that I wasn't taking what I wanted out of it.
So you're a better parent than me. If I had kids and they brought a bunch of candy home, I'd send them to their room, and then I'd go through it, take what I wanted, and then I would wake them up and say, "All right, you can have the rest now. This is the only stuff that was good. One apple. out of your 15 bags of candy, the only thing that survived that's acceptable is this one apple. There you go. So I would be a horrible parent, let me tell you. So, doing a little bit of research for today's events, the most I want to talk about what kind of is the catalyst or the most famous incident of poisoning of Halloween candy. So here's the story. I'm going to read a little bit to you about it. It says the most infamous Halloween poisoning took place back on October the 31st, of course, it's Halloween, 1974. That's when a Texas man, damn Texans, named Ronald O'Brien gave cyanide laced pixie sticks to 5 children, including his son. The other children never ate the candy, but his 8-year-old son did. Timothy did and died soon after. So, though nobody saw O'Brien put the cyanide in the candy, investigators learned that O'Brien had recently taken a life insurance out on his children. He was convicted of murder, executed in Texas for you. You don't screw around in Texas, and executed via lethal injection in 1984. I wonder if they gave him a cyanide injection. Though it's been decades since the crime, the Candyman murder still looms large in the memories of many parents on Halloween. So that's pretty cool, right? So that's one of the most famous one. Let's see here if I can find something else. I know there was incidents supposedly reported about needles and razor blades and apples and all of that. You know, here's one that made the news back in the 90s, big time. Simon Kennedy's in the house. Everybody's hello to Simon. Simon, good to have you here, my friend. We are talking about Halloween. Halloween movies that's your favorite, and now we're scaring everybody with the Halloween candy situation. So here's another one. A 7-year-old girl, California girl, collapsed while trick or treating on Halloween 1990. The Santa Monica police confiscated all of the kids' candy. However, her illness was later discovered to be caused by a heart murmur when she was examined. No sign of poisoning. But by then it was too late. Everybody was petrified and terrified that their kids were being poisoned. But here's a good thing. Let's read this. The U.S., the United States of America. That's right, Simon Kennedy. The good old United States of America is where we're coming from. Eddie Finn is in the house and he says, I got toothpaste once. Seriously. You must have lived close to a dentist. So, the United States does not have a monopoly on the poison candy horror stories. In the 1980s, a crime ring called the Mystery Men with 21 Faces blackmailed Japanese candy companies with threats that it would lace up their candy with cyanide if they didn't offer a large ransom. At first, it seemed just like a threat, and stores pulled large amounts of candy from store shelves only to find that it was not poisoned. The blackmailers struck again a few months later. This time, their hearts were in earnest. Packs of cookies and candies laced with cyanide were discovered on store shelves in central Japan. Fortunately, nobody died from the poison, though the chief of the Shanghai something police department eventually killed himself because of his failure to stop the crime ring. Holy crap. Who committed Japanese candy crimes? We may never know. the perpetrator, whatever, the bad guy, still haven't been found even after a 125,000 investigations by Japanese police. There you go. What do you think of that? Think the Japanese people? Man, wow.
Well, anytime my kids would get an apple for Halloween, and there'd be just the smallest hole, the apple was in the trash.
Yeah, you threw the apples away.
All almost always threw the apples away.
Huh.
Mainly because uh, a needle can leave the smallest hole in in an apple.
Yeah.
So I was trying to protect the kids.
Yeah, I agree with that. You gotta check things. Dennis says he got a finger once, cheap buggers, no ring on it though. That's probably a good thing, Dennis. No ring on it. You get that finger with a ring on it, then you're gonna be paying for years. So Henry says he remembers that story. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, uh, the hysteria, and there, it's kind of like the. Do you guys remember the Tylenol situation back in the '80s? Um, what changed how they package drugs, and they put the tamper resistant seal on them and things like that, so you know that if you get it home and the seal's broken, that maybe it's poisoned. You know, that's interesting. But the Japanese people find that interesting. So that's why we don't give out candy, because I don't want to be accused of being a bad guy more than I am. So hang on.
Well, nowadays the kids just don't stay in their own neighborhood; they go to other neighborhoods as well.
Yeah.
So they never know where they get the candy at.
Well, yeah, and a lot of the kids now go to the nice neighborhoods because they think they're going to get candy bars. If you go to the poor neighborhood like mine, you're going to get, crappy lollipops. you know, if you're going to go trick or treating, you might as well go to the rich neighborhood like Simon Kennedy's house over there in England. That's what I would suggest. Simon, do they do a lot of Halloween in your part of the world? I know they do, and I know they do in Canada, Dennis. So, but I don't think they do much Halloween in the Philippines, though.
No, they don't.
So they don't. They're not into it like we are. I did see a thing today that apparently this year is a boomer year for Halloween um, decorations. Apparently, this year they've been selling more Halloween decorations than ever before. Dennis says he likes to give out the earthworms. Well, Dennis, now I would come to your house and get the earthworms. Ethan and I both would. We would pack up and go, all right, you're giving out worms? We're there. We can use some worms for fishing. So Simon says hello to Dennis. And remember, let me drop the link again if you any of you gentlemen or so-called gentlemen from another country want to join us, true American gentlemen, up here in the pantry. Remember, today we are going to be here until about another half hour, and then we're coming back tonight at 7 because Lorelai will be here, and we're going to do another live stream at 7 o'clock with Lorelai. So hopefully you can bring the wives, the girlfriends. She said that she missed chatting with all of you guys, so that's what we're going to do. But Halloween's never scared me. It's never. I've never been horrified or scared. I'm not a scaredy cat. It's like the haunted houses. We're supposed to go to one Friday night, but I find them lame and boring. But you know,
I remember back in 75, 76, we had snowfall on the ground during Halloween up in St. Louis.
yeah, yeah,
That was fun.
yeah. A little chilly. It'd be a little chilly.
And back then we had plastic costumes.
Yes. Yeah, the cheap plastic costumes weren't very insulated. The ones that Lorelai bought the other day, man, um, they're like real clothes. Dennis says, "Hello, Slayer, the friend of the Yanks. The best dudes have the missed man." Yeah, hopefully Ronald's feeling good today. I know he's getting better every day with his leg, so hopefully he's doing good today, Dennis. Hopefully, so he'll be up and running and be heading back towards the Philippines in no time. I'm sure once he gets everything squared away. The Yank, in his advanced old age, he can't stay up past 9 o'clock in the Philippines. So he has to go to bed early because you know how it is with old people when they get old, how they have like dinner at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and they go to bed by 7. Well, that's kind of where he's gotten to, he's showing his age. So, which is
I
okay.
don't know if that's I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for his wife.
It's probably a good thing, you know. So it's probably a good thing. You know? So is anybody going to do anything for Halloween? I mean, is anybody going to a Halloween event? Let's see. What can we find here? I know.
Hey, Dave, I'm going to step down.
Okay.
Seeing you're up here for a while by yourself, so I decided I'm going to jump up here.
All right. No worries. Appreciate it. Hang in there.
Always.
So let's talk a little bit about our Filipino stories. You guys want to talk a little bit about Filipinos and their scariness and their Halloween? So why don't we do this? Does anybody think that there are ghosts in the Philippines? The Philippine people think there are. Remember that. No, here I am. Hello. So let me get over here to find something. So it says here on the wonderful world of the internet that many Filipinos still believe in ghosts, even in this modern time. And let me tell you, they're not lying when they say Filipinos believe in ghosts. I mean, Jesus Christ, even, you know, there's so many superstitions or hesitations that they have um, about this. It's like, I know a lot of Filipinos, and I have since I was 16, 15 years old, and they're scaredy cats of what ghost there may be. I mean, my wife's own sister, who's coming here for the holiday over Christmas, is scared that our house may be haunted. I'm like, our house is freaking brand new. It wasn't built on a cemetery like in the Poltergeist, So I'm like, oh my god! But they still believe in ghosts even in this modern time. People believe in ghosts because our brain tries to make sense of chaotic information. So we believe in ghosts because we're trying to process what we don't understand. It's like UFOs. We don't know what we're seeing, and so we immediately try to find an answer to that And it may truly be a UFO, unidentified flying object, but that doesn't mean it's an alien. Since ancient times, horror stories have been used to stop children from going outside late at night. In fact, in the Philippines, ghost stories are very popular during All Saints Days and All Souls Day, Halloween. So this is what we as adults have done, scary stories, to torture children to get them to behave. We as adults, over the many, many years, hundreds of thousands of years or whatever, even back in the caveman time, they would tell their little children horrible stories about how they're going to be eaten up or killed by ghosts and goblins so that they didn't go outside after dark or when we didn't want them to. So, we man, human beings are some of the best on the whole world and the whole existence. How good of it is for us to scare the crap out of our kids to get them to behave. So Henry says, nothing planned for Halloween. Yeah, Lorelai has something planned. I don't want to do it, but I don't know what it is. I'm just going to act like it's not happening and hope, I won't have to go. Most of the channels and radio stations have Halloween special episodes where they feature different ghosts and I'm not going to be able to pronounce any of these words. So I'm going to share these words with you. All right. Let me get over here and I'm going to share my screen with you because you guys will hate me if I just try to butcher these Filipino words. So here's what I'm reading here. The Gabi Ningling, you see these here? This is what we're talking about at the moment. And of course, when we talk about spiritual encounters, Filipinos know the name Ed Calag. I don't know Ed Calag. Does anybody know who this Ed Calag is? Huh. Philippines also have a lot of horror movies that you can watch and learn more about the ghosts in the Philippines. Here are some examples of Philippine horror movies. Can you guys see that, or I need to blow it up a little bit bigger for you? All right, can you see this? So these are apparently Filipino movies that will let you learn about what's going on in the Philippines when it comes to the ghost. Well, I have seen things that I can't explain here in the States and in Japan at the haunted forest. Oh, Henry. That's from Henry, guys. Let me tell you, I would love, and I know this is really bad, really, 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 really bad, but I would absolutely love to go to the haunted forest in Japan. If you don't know, and it sounds like Henry's actually been there, you guys need to study about the haunted forest in Japan. It is where a lot of people apparently go to commit suicide, and it's a very densely popular wooded area that is just beautiful to look at on camera, but apparently there's a lot of ghosts there. So in the Philippines, besides the media programs, there are also horror storybooks that you can buy in bookstores. For the most famous horror story book from a Philippine child can remember is the True Philippine Ghost Stories. These books contain lots of horror stories that you can read at any time. Isn't it so good that we like to read horror stories to our small children? Today, horror stories continue to scare people. The digital allowed the people to capture and record ghostly encounters from many haunted places. It's creepier now because you can see them in your eyes, but some still don't believe in ghosts and think ghost encounters are just a product of our imagination and digital editing. So my question to everybody on the group here, do you believe in ghosts, the traditional format of what we think of ghosts? Does anybody believe in vampires? Does anybody believe in Bigfoot? So let's talk about it. But this one I know a little about. So here's some scary stories from the Philippines. The number one scary story that I ever heard of, and was taught about was the white lady, at what is it, Balit Drive. Imagine driving late at night on a quiet, dark road, then suddenly a girl wearing a white dress appeared in your back seat. What would you feel? What would you do? Quezno City is known for as a big and beautiful city in the Philippines. But when Filipinos hear about this city, there is one thing that they can never leave their mind: the white lady at Balit Drive. Balit Drive is a road that seems to made to order for ghosts. It's a ghostly road. Yeah, I lost my. The street wasn't well lit because of big trees that blocked the lampposts. No light from the nearby houses reached the street because of the high concrete walls or hollow block walls surrounding them. So the street was empty, dark, lonely, and scary. The spooky road is where the white lady resides. People who have encountered the white lady says that she wears a long white dress and has long black hair. Some said that the white lady tries to hitchhike with the people who passes by and then suddenly disappears. There are different stories about the identity of the white lady, so nobody knows who the white lady really is. According to a person living on Balit Drive, the white lady was a college student who sneaked into their home to go with her friends. They got into a car accident and she died. Some also believe that the white lady was a young woman raped by Japanese soldiers back during the occupation. There was also a version that a taxi driver raped the girl, and she continues to find the person who did that to her. So what they're saying basically a lot is the Japanese raped her, and or a taxi guy raped and killed her, I'm sure. And she's hitching a ride trying to find that taxi driver, maybe is where they're going with this. So that's interesting. I like that. Until today, many taxi drivers are still scared to take the Balit Drive at night, fearing that they might encounter the white lady. Many people, even famous Filipino celebrities like Mars Rakow, I don't know who that is, sorry, still share their encounters with the white lady until this day. Whether it's true or not, it wouldn't hurt to at least drive there when you go to the Philippines. Who knows? Maybe you'll get the adventure that you were looking for, and the white lady may be in your back seat. Ooh, that's cool. Maybe it's one way to meet a single girl, guys. If you're looking for a single Filipino, maybe this is a good way to go do it with the white lady. I think it would be fun, as a troublemaker that I am, that you dress up a couple of long-haired, black-haired, long-haired Filipinas in a white dress, and you put them out there during the night. What do you guys think? Should we do that? Should we pay somebody to do that? There's a story about this headless priest. I don't know this story. So a student was studying late at night at school library and heard the sound of chains being dragged. Ooh. When she checked who was making the noise, she found a priest. But wait, a headless priest. Well, that's what you get. The headless priests are another Filipino ghost story, part of the urban legends. The priests played a vital role in Philippine history, that they did indeed. They were the ones who led the church, and they were also the ones who taught the students in class during the Spanish era. As their name suggests, the clergymen hang out in the universities, the graveyards, the churches, and places that feel spooky. They sometimes bring their heads with them and seems to be looking for them when they don't. I shouldn't laugh. I shouldn't laugh. Henry says, yep, that's a very weird place. Henry is at the right basic of Mount Fuji. Okay, there you go. Oh my God. As for their heads, people said that either the Filipino revolutionaries during the revolution or the Japanese soldiers, always the Japanese soldiers during World War II, cut off the heads of these priests. Older stories about biblical figures and martyrs who were killed, like St. John the Baptist, have also helped spread urban legends about priests. We have a different type of horror story in the United States about priests. Flying coffins. This might be interesting, right? We all know about the hanging coffins in the Philippines. You know, the ones that they are up on the mountains in those little caves that they are able to put somehow. So, but I don't think this is related to that. It's normal to see a coffin through its typically gives us instant creep or goosebumps. But seeing a flying coffin in the middle of the road at night, well, that is a different thing. Who wouldn't jump out of his feet and run? I don't know. I guess, I mean, to be honest, if I saw a flying coffin, I'd be really confused. You know, it wouldn't really scare me. I'd just be like, what? I don't understand. This because, it doesn't make any logic. Filipinos will agree with me when I say the flying coffin is one of the most popular horror stories shared with people. This horror story was featured in the Halloween special. I can't pronounce that. Gabby Bayan, a television show. All right. So maybe we can Google that and somebody can find that and watch it. The story is about a man walking in the middle of the night and he sees a flying or floating coffin in the middle of the road. This left him horrified. And this story is still known nowadays, especially during Halloween. Hogwash. Hogwash. I don't believe it. To me, guys, I don't know about you guys, but that one seems kind of lame to me. A flying coffin? Come on. I like the white lady better. I don't get that one. Let's see here. Souls in Diplomat Hotel. Ooh. Going on a vacation in a nice and cold place like Baguio is the dream vacation for many people. I like the fact that they think that's cold. It's cold for the Philippines, but if you live in Canada, it's damn nice and damn warm. But you will enjoy your vacation if you've learned that the place you will visit was once a vacation house where many people were killed. I like it. The Diplomat Hotel is one of the go-to places for ghost hunters from different parts of the world. In fact, this hotel was featured in documentaries from different countries because of its dark history. I'm going to have to go there. The Diplomat Hotel is believed to be built during the early 1900s. This was built to become a vacation house for the Spaniards, the priests, and the nuns. It's always the priests and the nuns, This hotel was a home to many and happy, beautiful memories. But all that changed during World War II. There we go again. We're going to lay this on the Japanese. According to the stories, when the Japanese came, they gathered up all the people in the hotel, separated them into different rooms, and killed them all. The people in the hotel were shot to death, beheaded, and stabbed. The worst part is in the center of the hotel where the foundation is located, or sorry, the fountain is located in the same place where the children were gathered and killed. Oh my God. What I don't understand is this. Yeah, Henry says, remote control coffin. What I don't understand is this. If it's Japanese and you're going to kill a whole bunch of people in a hotel, why are you separating them? Just put them together and kill them. I don't understand that. It just doesn't make any sense. So after World War II, the vacation house was converted into a hotel, but another tragic incident happened. A fire started in the hotel, and the firefighters took a long time to arrive because it was far from civilization back then. Many guests who were staying there died, which is another reason for the hotel to be haunted. With this horrifying event, it is unsurprising that this hotel has been placed for the restless souls crying out for justice. The people working and visiting the hotel have experienced many scary encounters. Most of the people who have visited the hotel have almost the same heavy feeling as many people are looking at them. The souls of the dead are staring at them. There are also times that the ghosts were photographed and recorded. Tourists have shared their experience seeing a nun, a priest, or a child. Baguio's cold and relaxing atmosphere is ideal for a restful vacation. But what if the experience you get from entering the Diplomat Hotel will make you feel restless, just like the people who have died there? You gotta love it. You got horror stories from all over the country, all over the world. I like horror stories. I don't buy into them, but I do like them. Let me get rid of that. Go back over here. So yeah, the coffin, flying coffin, could have been, remote control or, a model airplane shaped like a coffin. It's kind of like all the same things that we see flying around the atmosphere. I don't know. But I do know how scared Philippine people get with ghosts. I mean, we got a friend, you guys may know this, his fiance, now wife, just got over here a few weeks ago, a couple months ago now. It's been a couple months. And they were talking the other day, this couple weeks ago, they were talking about going to Eureka Springs with us because we're going to go to Eureka Springs and drive around and look at the trees. And this new Filipina, it's like, well, isn't that where that haunted hotel is in Eureka Springs? Eureka Springs is known for a haunted hotel. It's very cool. Let me give you the name of it if you want. I can't remember the name of it. The Crescent. It's the Crescent. That's right. So Eureka Springs, Arkansas, has the Crescent Hotel, which is haunted, or at least they say it is. I've actually been there, and we stayed there years ago. Never had anything happen. But they were saying, and she asked, isn't that where the haunted hotel is? And I'm like, well, yeah, do you guys want to go? And I said, because we can go. I don't mind. And the three Filipinos, the man and my wife and his new wife, because they're all from the Philippines, I'm the only American, they're like, absolutely not. Because what they're terrified that something is going to follow them home. So much so that, like, for instance, this weekend, we're going to go to a haunted house with some friends. But here's what drives me crazy. We're going to a fake haunted house where they scare you intentionally, right? When we leave there, Lorelai will make me drive a whole bunch of other places. She will make me stop at different places to let the ghost off the car. Because in their logic is if you're at a cemetery, at a funeral, wherever, that may be scary, haunted, whatever, you cannot go directly from point A to point B. So when we go to somebody's funeral here, I have to go do other things before I can come home because we have to let the bad spirits or the spirits, even the good ones, who may catch a ride on the car with us off. We got to let them off wherever we go. So I got to make sure I stop somewhere and let the spirits off. Crazy, right? Henry says, sounds like a house that he grew up in Missouri. Missouri has some creepy spots. You know, I agree. Arkansas has some, but Missouri really does have some creepiness, especially in Missouri. You have a lot of hauntings from Civil War people. Even some of the caves in Missouri that we've been to, they talk about sometimes you see Civil War soldiers in these caves. So it is interesting. But so this weekend, we're going to go to a manufactured, a make-believe haunted house where they intentionally, everything's fake just to scare you. And I will have to go other places to make sure nothing attached to us. She's apparently going to drive me to a costume party. I promise you, we will have to do the same thing. It's unbelievable. If you want to, here's my tip, and we're almost done for now. And remember, 7:00 tonight. Everybody come back. Lorelai's going to be here. And we're going to do another live stream tonight. So, but here's my tip: if you ever want to get rid of an irritating Filipina or Filipino, for that matter, just tell them there's ghosts in your house. Now look, and I'm going to tell you a quick story, that the first house that we rented in the Philippines had a ghost. There's no question. When we moved to the Philippines, and the first place which we lost a lot of money on, trust me, had a ghost. It had a mosquito infestation and water issues, but it had a ghost living in the back damn room where the original owner apparently lived when he died, which we didn't know about until we moved in, of course, because there is no full disclosure in the Philippines. So, but the house we rented, and I have a video on YouTube, not about the ghost, but about the house. Had a ghost in it, the father-in-law or the father, whoever it was. And they locked up the back room. What they did is they took this house where he lived, and after he died, they put all of his shit in this back room and locked it up. Hopefully he's not in there. But there's something not right with that house, you know, not only from an environmental standpoint and then bug infestation standpoint, but there's something else not right with that house. So if you want to get rid of a Filipina, just tell them your house is haunted. They won't come over and visit you. If you got one that's stalking you on the internet who wants to hook up with you, you just give them, hey, you know, I can't talk right now because my dead friend is coming over and we have to visit with each other. They will never bother you again. I promise you. If you don't want them going somewhere, just tell them you heard that that's on it. You know, it's kind of like what I've been thinking about doing with her sister comes here for vacation during Christmas. Any place that I don't want to go to, I'm just going to quietly say, well, I don't know. You got to remember that was the place where all those people got murdered. And that will take care of that. We won't be going there. So, those are my tips for today, for you guys. But happy Halloween. We appreciate all of you guys. Please come back and join us tonight at 7. You guys are all welcome. Remember, our live streams are all about you and what you guys are up to. And hopefully you guys are enjoying this. Remember to like, subscribe, share, and give us a thumbs up. But guys, take care. We will see you tonight.